Guys, everyone, today is February the 13th, 2021, the first day of the finals of the Opera Euro Rapid Chess. We've got So versus Magnus vying for the first place, and today was the first day of the final. Tomorrow will have to be continued, because at the end of this video, I'll tell you how the days went. So this is one of the games that was won by Magnus, and he was playing black. And there were draws, and then there was a 1-win for So. So in this particular one, we are reviewing. So basically, I'll tell you now. Well, I'll tell you later. Just you gotta. I think you gotta work through this to see what's going on, and then I'll tell you later how the standings are after the first day of the final of the Opera Euro Open Rapid Chess. I just want to say it's not over. It's not over till the fat lady sings. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, here we go. So is white and Magnus is black. And we go with the E opening with the two knights defense. As you can see, I'm just going to move through. So we are moving in with the knight, controlling the central pawns, attacking, and we are taking. You can just see, I'm just going to go through this a little faster so that we can see how the horses are the horses. Well, some people like to say horses, but actually the knights are moving. Notice this is an open line, and So is wanting to take advantage of this open line by moving his rook in there. So it's pretty amazing that black will come back on an attack. So notice, what do you think? Will he fork? Will he fork the bishop and the knight? Let's see how their preparation was. One of the commentators in one of the games said that looks like Wesley So prepared up to the 22nd move because things were going very, very fast. That means there was a memorized, looks like a memorized preparation, most likely. That's a lot of moves to memorize, right? But that's the top level here. You want to be at the top level, you have to memorize quite a bit of the moves. But then in the moment where his preparation stopped, that's when Magnus threw a curveball at him, and he had to think and think and think, and that's where things went awry for him. So I'm just wanting to comment that there's a lot more. It's kind of like we're using computers as a crutch, wanting to memorize every move that they make, but then comes a limit to our memorization, and there comes a point where you actually have to make some moves that you don't have the computer right with you, and that's where I think like science leaves and faith comes in. That's where the human part comes in, you know? There are a lot of things in science we know, and there are a lot of things in science 100 years we didn't go, but where science ends, there is faith. And so we need to have faith, and the intuition and our training and everything else that comes in, the thinking part of it is crucial. That's the beauty of chess. You cannot just memorize every game because there are so many millions of combinations. And that's the beauty of chess. And that's why you see a novelty. If they say there's a novelty, that means a move that stepped out of the variation, and that's novelty is now a new game. And so that is how chess should be. I don't know. That's why just enjoy the game. Enjoy the game because at the highest level, it's a lot of memorization and knowing variations. I don't know where the enjoyment at that point comes in, because you got to really have a passion for something to be doing it all the time. And so just take it with a grain of salt. It seems you got to have a good memory to play chess, but but apart from that, you have to know and have critical thinking skills. You find yourself in position, and you have to freestyle, right? That's what they were saying, freestyle, the commentators. Well, freestyle, isn't that what creativity is? Picasso is different than Rembrandt, and we enjoy the beauty of it all. And so that is where your signature will come in, your handwriting style will come in. When you learn your own style, and you have to play against somebody else's style and see which style dominates. Anyway, let's continue. So instead of allowing that, he took the knight, which is now being attacked twice. The knight on e5. So he moves back. Magnus moves his pawns again, and we are continuing an attack with the knight. He moves out. By moving out, he's attacking the bishop, and of course this pawn, but it can be taken. Is this bishop protected? Is it? Can you see? Okay, what will happen? He moves out of the way. Okay, we continue with central pawns here with He takes, notice, he takes this with a pawn. He takes the knight with the pawn. At the same time attacking this square. Wow. Do you see in one move how Magnus accomplishes more than one thing? And look how close he is to the king. Do you see where the focus is? If we are going to attack, we are going to attack towards the king. Okay, we are not losing time here. We are focusing on where we can attack, and now we are attacking close to the king. Twice. This poor pawn. Okay, it's protected by by the king and the bishop, but is the bishop going to be lost? What do you think? Anyway, continue. So he doesn't let that happen. He takes the pawn with the queen. Now he's eyeing the knight, destroying that thought there. So then we regroup. If your thoughts and ideas are destroyed, you regroup and you think of new ways of taking down your opponent. Let's continue. Okay, so he moves back and now regroups to attack the central pawn. Now he regroups and attacks both knights and protects the central pawn. Do you see how double duty we are doing? You don't want to have a piece overworked, but here definitely it's good to have double duty being done by the queen. So Magnus Carlsen moves his knight back. So continues on the attack with the bishop. He moves back. Magnus moves back his bishop. Then we continue on the attack with the pawns. Notice the structure. What an interesting structure. I like this structure. This is a beautiful structure. Do you see how nice and geometrical? Do you see we are controlling this square. We're controlling this square, this square, this square. All of these squares here, here, and here. You see how this formation, so you have to visualize what are you controlling, and also visualize what squares is your opponent controlling. Okay, we continue. Also, you have to simplify. Sometimes you just have to simplify and reduce. That's why we take material so we can simplify, so our brain does not get overheated. You see what I'm saying? If we overheat our brain, that's not going to be a good thing. We might need more medication like aspirin. For me, I would have to take aspirin. I would be getting too much of a migraine headache. Anyway, we continue. Okay, he moves and attacks this structure here with this pawn. You have to decide what he's going to do. These are critical decisions. Interesting. There are so many ways that one can go. Where, like I say, the computer study of the preparation of the opening finishes, and then you have to really think on your feet again. And that's where it's the most intriguing, because you're in the middle of the middle game. A lot of pieces should still be on the board, and which way are you going to maneuver your attack? Okay, he continues on the move, ignoring this pawn and going after the c-pawn. And Carlsen is now attacking the queen. This is a critical moment. This is the moment where you're gonna So has to decide: is he going to take this queen, or is he going to do another move and a save? And notice there's a lot of development on South side. There's a lot of development here. There's a lot of potential. But if the queens go off the board, we have a reduced amount of firepower that So will have. So let's see what he does. This is a critical point of the game, right here. He decides to take the queen, but that really minimized his position to in this critical point. Magnus was able to overtake and dominate, and you will see how this happens. So will continue. He takes the queen. The queens are exchanged. Then the king is attacked, but then he is able to block with the bishop. Do you see the turn of events? That move was critical. That queen versus queen situation was a critical decision point. It's like the tipping point. Remember, there's the thing called the tipping point. I've noticed that there's a tipping point in chess that once you reach something like that, it starts to rip. Things kind of start to rip and just fall into place, depending who is in the advantage at that point. And this is, we have reached the tipping point. So here we go. He takes, and moves down, trying to do something, but its point is a little bit too late for So to do anything. Okay, the rooks are attacked. He's trying to protect. Then he moves down. Magnus moves down his pawns. He's trying to go after the knight. Then Magnus goes after his knight. He takes. You see how we are doing a reduction, like a sauce reduction. So it has more concentrated. You can concentrate your thinking power with less pieces on the board. You're not as diluted anymore. And look how it all is going down. Okay, notice how creepy it's creeping up towards where are those pawns? They're very in the back, far away from promotion. And look how far, only 3 away from promotion. Okay, these past pawns. So look, and that was the critical point. It was the queen facing the queen. That was a critical point. As I say, there is usually a critical point in a chess game where things just evolve very quickly for either of the two opponents. Continue. Notice this move. When you're trying to promote a pawn, you put the rook behind it, like this, just like this. You see that? Okay. And so he takes, moves the king, and Magnus Carlsen is moving the king to try to help out over here. And now we are going to, he's going after the bishop. He takes the bishop, more reduction of material. And now this pawn promotion is stopped. So basically he's babysitting this pawn. So is babysitting this pawn. So this was kind of out of commission at this point. And what can be done? Now he has Magnus has put his firepower behind this pawn. So moves his king, and Magnus moves his rook, which is facing this pawn. We are now maneuvering the kings. I've stopped, and we are moving back. Notice the movement of the kings is becoming active in the endgame. Okay, now he's changed course here. You see how he moved the king to be the one that will be babysitting Carlos's pawn, and now he's trying his best to get his rook activated. But at this point is where it's basically, you can see that with a few more moves, white and black Magnus Carlsen will win. And so this is it. This is the first day of the final. And in the Opera Euro Rapid Chess This game was won by Magnus with black in a critical move where it looks like So made a little bit of a misstep. And that's all it takes for Magnus to take the reins again. And we shall see. Like I was saying, it's not over till the fat lady sings. Opera, da 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 da. It's not over till the fat lady sings. So we'll see tomorrow. How will things go? Basically, you cannot blunder. If So blunders, Magnus will be taking advantage. If Magnus blunders, So will be taking advantage. So all you need is really one blunder sometimes to take care of things. And we shall see how well rested they are, how their emotional, psychological states are. So has a cat. I don't know if Magnus Carlsen has a pet, but like a dog or a cat. I don't think that should be allowed. Basically, you should be on even keel with no pets. Maybe the same, maybe just water. There should be some standards, even with online type tournaments. But that will be decided by the organizers. You all take care. We'll see what happens in the final day of the Opera Rapid Chess tournament. Au revoir.